This is Jordan Fisher from the Tech Center, and today we are doing episode 2 of Mean Stack Basics. We are covering installing everything we need and setting up our workspace. So, all the links to everything we will need will be in the description below. So here are the basic parts: M, E, A, and N. Okay, so there's MongoDB. Windows, download the MSI, run it, and I will explain what we need to do with that when we're done with that. Linux, you can download the TGZ, or you can install it with like yum like it says, or apt-get. OSX, download also a TGZ, or I think there's another way to get it, Homebrew maybe. And if you use Solaris for whatever reason, by all means go ahead and download the TGZ and do whatever you do with those. Express, we're going to install through npm, so we'll get to that. AngularJS, we're just going to use that link, so we don't really need that. Node.js, MSI, package, targz, or you can also use apt-get or yum or whatever. Okay, so I've already installed all of that stuff. There is a couple other things you're going to need. You're going to need Python. Let's spell it right. From python.org. So you can download that for Windows or Linux or OS X. If you're on Linux, you may already have it installed, so that's pretty straightforward. Now, the next thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to set up environment variables, or paths or something, I think they're called on Linux and Mac. Anyway, it's also called the path here. So basically we have the links to where the exes or the whatevers are, so that we don't have to type it out. So we have npm there, we have MongoDB there. I believe over here there's Node.js. And you also need to put Python on here. I don't think I've done that yet, so let me see where Python is installed. Python 2.7, and there's Python. Okay, so we are going to edit this, add another semicolon, and go C \, Python 2.7. Okay, and the way you check whether or not these are working is very simple. Start R, CMD, and I'm gonna hit node, works. MongoD, that'll be the server, it works. One thing you will need to do for the MongoDB server, it may give you an error. Go into C, make a folder called data, and inside of that a folder called DB, and it'll work perfectly. And if you accidentally type Mongo and it does something like that, and you go, what on earth is that all about? It's trying to connect to the server, the Mongo server, and it can't. So you will need to leave MongoD running, and then if we open another one, we can do Mongo, and it can connect to it just fine. Okay, stop that. We're gonna try npm again, works fine. Python works fine. Okay, so we have all the basic components set up. So now we are going to create a new folder on the desktop, call it order app. We're going to go in there, shift right click, open command window here, and we're going to need to do a few things. We're going to npm install -g, so we're using Node Package Manager to install globally. We're going to do express generator first. I've already done this, and we'll see what it'll do. On maybe Mac and definitely Linux, you will have to do sudo at the front of it when you're doing -g's. Okay, so now we're going to do express -e. So we're going to make an Express app and use EJS instead of Jade. If you don't know what that means, we'll explain it later. So we'll do that. Made a bunch of files and folders. Now we're going to run npm install, and it'll install everything in this file here, this is basically like everything about our app. So it has name, version, private, scripts, start, dependencies. So we have body parser, cookie parser, debug, EJS, express Morgan, and serve favicon. If you're wondering what this is, this program, it's Visual Studio Code, and you will need a text editor. So you can use something as simple as Notepad or TextEdit, or I can't remember what the one on Linux is called, Ubuntu, I mean, you know. But I would recommend something more powerful like Visual Studio Code or Sublime Text or something. Visual Studio Code is available for Windows, obviously, but also for Linux and OS X, and it is great at Node.js applications, like it says right there. So you'll just download that and be good to go. So that's what I'm going to be using. So that basically sets it up. I'm going to install a couple more things. We are going to install socket.io, negative safe. And actually, one other thing you're going to have to do. You're going to have to do npm install -g express. And I have already done that, but it should be fine. So, I think it's installing socket.io. Maybe. I don't know. It should. It doesn't have it on that list yet. Does it have anything in here for socket.io? It appears to. Okay, it's doing stuff. So we'll let that do its thing. Meanwhile, we'll look in here. So bin www, our node modules, different stuff we have. Public, this is where all your static content goes. We have images, JavaScripts, style sheets. Gave me an error. What's it doing? It's giving me errors. Cannot open file. Okay, so it's not opening files, but maybe it worked. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. But it did add socket.io. Another thing we're going to do is npm install -g nodemon. Nodemon is a neat little thingamadoohickey, and I'll show you what it does in a second. We also have the routes folder and the views folder. Okay. We're also going to need another one, passport, another npm module, but I haven't gone over that one recently, especially not on Windows. I actually, like I said, use my own server usually, but yeah. Okay, so to start this up and test it, we're going to run, not that, we're going to run nodemon. And on definitely Linux and maybe Mac, you will have to do sudo on that. Alright, so it's starting that up. So now we can go to localhost :3000 and Express. Welcome to Express. So we're pretty much set up. It couldn't find our favicon, but that's because we haven't made one. It did get our style sheet and it did redirect us appropriately. And we'll just go ahead and stop that. So everything is working. In the next video, we will get started. We will first install Passport because I'll have a chance to look it up, and we will get started coding. So if you guys liked this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't checked out the Budget Beast build log and unboxing and whatever, the build log is still coming, but it's on it'll be uploaded on Friday. But if you haven't checked out the unboxings, you can find them in the top right hand corner. And yeah, so until next time, bye.